Why the fuck hasn't Charlotte done anything like that? So that brings me into what it is that we are going to discuss, going to talk about. Why can't it be a Charlotte versus everybody? What's the problem with that? It's not that we don't have the talent. I've met enough rappers down here to know that Charlotte, North Carolina has a lot of fucking talent. Why isn't none of that talent blowing? Why?
Gotta have it. Make it disappear and bring it appear like magic. Money, gotta have it. Make it disappear and bring it appear like magic.
Well, I mean, that's the question. The answer to that question is the same answer that you would give anybody in any location. Why isn't it, you know what I mean? Why isn't it blowing? Now, things to a specific location, you just really, you know what I mean, have to be practical and not susceptible to musical growth, such as, you know, Los Angeles, New York City, you know, the larger markets. But with the advent of the internet and being able to put out your own content and distribute the content at your own will, that definitely kind of like made the, you know what I'm saying, made the playing field a tad bit even. But I mean, it's also it could be a collective of, you know, negative energy amongst certain powers, you know, that control certain areas.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Let's take that deeper than what you're talking about. It could be based on the geological location. But what it is you just heard, there's a lot of Detroit rappers who can pass that solo artist, right? That we never heard of.
Yeah.
Why do we have Big Sean, Royce the 5'9", Eminem? Who was the Detroit rapper that you know big-wise?
Nobody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, other than
and just like with North Carolina, and like that, you compare that to North Carolina. Who has industry? Who has reached industry nationwide distribution levels out of North Carolina? Lil Brother, J. Cole, Rhapsody. Just 3. That's it. There's a whole lot more talent. But you can say that about maybe Detroit. I don't know. I don't live in Detroit, so I don't know what it's set up like. But you look at some place like Atlanta, everybody blows up in Atlanta. Let me ask you this then, instead of looking at the issues, how can we look at a place like Atlanta or a place like New York perhaps, or a place like LA, and say that they have a better formula for achieving success together?
Well, you have to look at a certain location and see exactly how that particular location receives the bulk of its income. So, for example, for Atlanta receives, when it comes to music, it receives a lot of income from strip clubs, nightclubs, definitely strip clubs. So a lot of things get broken via the strip club, the strippers wanting to dance on the specific songs. So they request those songs if the song's being played in that particular strip club. Naturally, you know, without anything organic, if there's nothing in place for local artists, like just the random local artist that goes into the studio and it records a dope track, and if there's nothing in place to make sure that, okay, you know, that song can get to wherever ears it needs to get based on what type of song it is, then it's just a lack of like handling. It's just business, like it's purely business reasons in that sense. But usually, I mean, before you had, you know, like internet, you know what I mean, you had dude like, you know what I mean, that would just pop the trunk, have 1 million CDs, blast the music, you know, create fans, blah blah blah, go perform at the show, same deal. So it's like now it's like more, it's better for the independent because it's easy just to create, but then people don't know how to maneuver simultaneously and in the physical form and talk to necessary people, meet people face to face, do things like that. So I mean, Atlanta, man, it's really just the quality control and like Coach K, right?
Okay.
To do. So it's things get, you know, in the club, popping in the club, you know, and it just depends on, you know, it's more things. It's and it's also a level of respecting the art form that tends to kinds of lessen, like make things like less wealthy, if that makes sense.
All right, so let me flip this around real quick then.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about when money is flowing into your community consistently,
Mm-hmm.
you now as an artist can make moves. An artist in Atlanta. The thing about Atlanta has a mainstream and it has an underground. You got your Jeezys, you got your T.I.s, you also got your Jaron Bentons. You got your underground Atlanta rappers too who have national reach. L.A., same thing. You got your mainstream niggas like Snoop. I don't know if he put out anything recently, but I'm trying to think of mainstream West Coast rappers right now. But you got a heavy West Coast underground like King Los, the YG. There's a lot of Yuck Mouth. There's a lot of underground LA rappers as well as mainstream rappers. You know, Detroit has the same kind of thing. They got the mainstream and they got an underground scene. New York, same thing. But it seems like in those kind of places, no, I take out Detroit because Detroit doesn't seem like a money-making hub. Yeah, so I'll take out Detroit out of that. But as far as places where you don't think that money can come in to put a whole scene on, do you think that it's more realistic for people to look for investments from labels, like aka try to get signed? Like if I can't generate the money on my own to do it, then I might as well just look for a label to give me that endorsement.
Well, as far as do you advocate that? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking, is that the step? If you're not blessed to be in a place like Atlanta where there's so much money going around, or a place like New York where there's so much money going around, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about bank money. I'm talking about lawyer money. There's so much money that's around.
Right. I mean, the next step would be to record a demo and then like shop your demo or go to the radio station. Like in Detroit, like the main record labels are like New York, LA, you know, as far as the concentration of them. So it's like you just go right uptown and it's like they're just right there. So, you know, believe in your art, you know. I mean, you would have to meet the necessary people.
All right, so
but I mean, yeah, that would be a logical step. I mean, as far as, you know, getting on the worldwide bound. But the question is what's the, you know, how you gonna give yourself value? You know what I'm saying? So it's giving yourself value.
Gotta have it, make it disappear and bring it back like that.